Welcome to Rewatch-and-Rank. On this channel, we rewatch older TV shows, provide a summary and opinion on the episode before ranking each episode against each other. Today's episode is One Punch Man Season 3, Part 1, Episode 28, Counterattack Signal. Episode in a nutshell is a brief reminder of what happens in the episode. So in this episode, it starts with Garo waking up from his injuries and managing to let off some type of smoke after he realizes his wounds are fused to his clothing, um, and seems to be able to walk off fine. And he heads directly for the Monster Association. Guro, having been reported that he was dead, senses him entering into the Monster Association tunnels, but doesn't know that it's Garo, so he sends some monsters to check it out, which Garo defeats, and he makes his way in to rescue Tario. Tario is taken from the cell with Wegenem to Royal Ripper's room, where Royal Ripper wants to cut him into pieces. Luckily, before he does more than make a scratch on his cheek, Garo does arrive and slices Royal Ripper into pieces. And that's where the episode ends. In between this action, we also have the Hero Association. We can see Narinki kind of worried about his son, worried about the squad he sent after them because they were supposed to check in every 2 hours. He hasn't heard from them all night, worries the operation failed. Meanwhile, all of the S classes have managed to gather and they have a strategy meeting. However, Silverfang and Genos are not called to this meeting because Child Emperor, after speaking in a previous episode with Metal Knight, was told not to trust people, and he thinks Genos living in the ghost town where the Monster Association headquarters is said to be is suspicious, and so he doesn't want to trust him. And Silverfang, he worries due to his attachment to his former student Garo, let him get away, and is therefore not going to be as effective against the Monster Association, so they're both excluded. King, when he arrives home after leaving Saitama's apartment, is met by the Hero Association, so he's still going to be included in the mission, but at the strategy meeting, we just see the S classes that they're including minus King, and they strategize about how each of them are going to take a separate entrance, and then their backup, which are going to be like B and A rank heroes, will get any of the monsters that slip past them and try to escape. Saitama isn't really included in their calculations at all. And then the last little bit, also kind of interspersed in there, but the last plot point that we followed in this episode was Saitama's apartment, where they are making the hot pot, and because it's a bunch of strong people, when the hot pot is initially ready, they dive for it. The pieces end up in the air. Genos basically is trying to hold everyone accountable to a certain level of politeness, which none of them are living up to. And they're just picking different ingredients out of the air. King, of course, ends up knocked out because he's not actually strong on the floor, and then he basically wakes up the next day to Saitama letting him know that he kicked everybody out after the hot pot was over, but King was unconscious, so he was allowed to stay the night, and Genos is in for repairs. And then asks King to take out the trash on his way out as a thank you for letting him stay the night. But now that we've been reminded about what happened in the episode, we'll now rank the episode, and we'll rank on our mostly objective ranking list, which uses set values to determine the score, followed by the personal ranking list, which is based on my opinion of the episode. So honestly, I feel like the only things that I felt I could put points towards were our multi-season supporting character development. And there were a few different developments. There was obviously Garo waking up and heading to the Monster Association to rescue Tario, which he manages to arrive at the end at where Tario is. Child Emperor deciding to exclude Genos and Silverfang from the rescue mission. It would be a development for all of the S classes to be arriving for the strategy meeting. Genos, we learn, is in for repairs. So there's a lot of really little tiny developments. And so I decided to basically say that it was 6 points. Basically, 2 small developments equal 1 2 points. And so there was about 4 little developments that happened, so 6 points overall. And that was it for this episode, 6 out of 10. Which brings our mostly objective ranking so far to, in first, the strategy meeting, organism limits, monster traits, and then this episode is currently in fourth, counterattack signal. So this episode, the Hot Pot Saga was fun. I think it's rude that Child Emperor wants to exclude Genos and Silverfang, but to be fair, we understand where he got the idea from. He justifies himself when he says that they're going to be excluded. We know that he had a conversation with Metal Knight telling him not to trust even people in the Hero Association. He explains why he doesn't trust Genos and Silverfang and wants to exclude them. So while I think it's rude, I do also understand from his perspective why it's considered reasonable. Um, but ultimately, like it didn't have the entertainment value in this episode for me because basically we've got Garo waking up, going to rescue Tario. We've got Tario being taunted by monsters. We've got a strategy meeting where they plan out what I already thought that was the plan. Like, I don't know how many times they have to reiterate their plan before they figure out what their plan is, because I feel like that's what the plan's been since episode 1. Um, and then the Hot Pot Saga, which honestly has been going on for at least 3 episodes now. Actually, even the first episode, he left to get the Napa cabbage. In the second episode, he left the Napa cabbage behind at the restaurant. In the third episode, Fubuki brought back the Napa cabbage. And then in this episode, they actually get to eat the Napa cabbage in the hot pot. So this has been a saga that's been ongoing, and they finally got to eat the hot pot, and now that's done. I don't know what they're going to do for the next few episodes until Saitama comes in and does his One Punch thing, but it's been exciting, and now it's over. But honestly, I feel like there wasn't a lot of comedy. It was a lot of minor developments, like I said, that are moving the plot forward, but are still minor developments. Honestly, all 4 points came from the Hot Pot, and I gave it a 4 out of 10 because the Hot Pot Saga has been compelling. So, as to the personal ranking list so far, first, monster traits, organism limits, the strategy meeting, and then this episode for me is also in fourth place, counterattack signal, with its 4 points. Bringing us now to our series ranking so far, and we have our mostly objective ranking. Season 1 in first, Season 2 second, OVA's in third, and Season 4 so far has a score of 31 out of 120 points. Meanwhile, on our personal ranking side, we have Season 1 in first, Season 2 second, OVA in third, matching our most objective ranking, and Season 3 Part 1 so far has a score of 24 out of a possible 120. But with that, we have now rewatched and ranked One Punch Man Season 3 Part 1 Episode 28, Counterattack Signal. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I'll see you in the next episode.